All right, kids. So if you notice, where's my pen? There it is. We are here at a review packet 2. So we're going to do the first part here, then a few problems in topic 2, just to make sure you remember about processes for solving equations. Here's where we really start some of the most important things for you for Algebra 1. It's going to be really important that we can do all of this. All right, so translating expressions, because once you get to word problems in Algebra 1, it's going to be really important that we make sense of these. So when it says 1 less than something, this means 1 less than this, okay? Which means this minus 1. So now we have to figure out what this is. And so it says the product of 4, product means multiply, and a number. So we're going to have 4x, then minus 1. 1 less than means this is something subtract 1. And this, the most common wrong answer here would be 1 minus 4x. So it's really important that we interpret this phrasing correctly. All right, so it says the number 2, 2/3 of a number. That means 2/3 times a number increased, which is plus, by 7. So we're going to have 2/3 x, doesn't matter what variable you use, plus 7, okay? Please note, these are just expressions, which means they don't have an equal sign there, okay? An equation has an equal sign, an expression does not. All right, so number 3 says the difference, that's a subtraction problem, between m and 7. This is also important because the way they list it here is the way your subtraction problem is going to look. It's going to be m minus n. All right. So on the last, number 4, I'm sorry, it says in 9 subtract, I'm sorry, I got distracted. 9 subtracted from a number squared. Okay, so 9 subtracted from means something minus 9. That a number squared, that's the something, okay? It says from this. So it's x squared, then we minus 9. All right. Number 5 says the quotient of. So that means a division problem. Quotient means division. Twice a number and 5. Again, when they write it like this, twice a number goes on top and 5 goes on the bottom. So the quotient of twice a number, that's 2x and 5 divided by 5. You have to pay close attention to how they list the numbers here. That tells you how to write it out when you're starting to do your expression. And then the last one that we have here is the sum of. Sum means addition. Now, this is really important because when you're adding two things, you have one thing and then you have the other thing. This and, that's where your plus sign goes. So it's going to be 1/4 of a number and 27. This takes practice, but it's really, really, really important when you're in Algebra 1 that you're able to interpret these word phrases so you can come up with the correct problem. Because as we all know, if you write the wrong problem, you get the wrong answer. All right, make sure you have all that written down because I have to erase it so I can scroll up. All right. So we're going to do some of these together. I think we'll do just one up here. So let's do this one. I mean, they're kind of both the same. But it says, look, this is a negative outside. This is the same thing as saying -1 times 5p plus 17. I think you would have noticed this is a -3 easily enough, but sometimes we overlook the fact that this is a -1 out here. So then we have -5p, because remember we do distributive property, okay, throughout the whole set of parentheses. So then we have a -1 times 17, which is -17. Excuse me. All right, let's go down here to one of these. So it says, remember it says simplify up here. That means combine like terms, distributed property, and it even says so, in case you forgot what simplify means, all of these things here. So let's choose a different color. All right, so we'll start with number 11. So we have a -5. We have a -8. Those are like terms. So we're going to combine those things. So a -5 and a -8 together make -13. Then we have -14k. Remember, that's a -14k. The sign there goes with it. We have a +19k. And then we have a -1k. So -14 and +19 is +5. -1 is +4. So our answer then is +4k. So combining like terms, distributed property, these are all the things that we have practiced in class. All right, let's do one then at the bottom row. Probably you're not going to like this fraction, so we'll do that one together. Erase that stray mark I made. Okay, so remember we still do distributed property, and it has to go all the way through the parentheses. And notice right here, that's a little tricky. That's a -1. So we're going to distribute that as well. So let's do that first. 2/3 of 6. Now let's just write this over here. It's 2/3 times 6/1, which equals 12/4. I'm sorry, 12/3. And that's what equals 4. So now we have 4x. Now we have 2/3 times -27. So if we do this, that's a 7. We get -54/3. That's our -18. All right. And then we have -1 times x is -1x. And then -1 times 8, which is -8. Then, see, that's just distributed property. Now we have to go back and put like terms together. So we have 4x and a -1x, that's 3x. And we have a -18 and a -8, which gives us -26. And that's our answer there. The key here, and remember, I'm not going to do this for you. I want you to practice on your own, and then we can come back and look at the answer key after you've done them, or you can get me. I'll send you the answers if you would like me to. Make sure you're distributing your negative all the way through your parentheses. All right, let me clear that so that make sure you have the work down so you can practice. All right, on this next part, first of all, we didn't factor. We're not doing that. You will actually learn that in Algebra 1, so that's exciting, I think. Okay, but if you look down here, I'm not going to do these for you because it's our very, very simple inverse operations, but let's explain this problem. So the first thing that we did was we got rid of this 2. And because this is something, the numerator, remember, that's a grouping symbol. That's a really ugly grouping symbol. That's not what I want to do. Eraser. Okay. The numerator is like a grouping symbol. So it's something divided by 2. So to get rid of that denominator, look what we did here. We multiplied by 2 on both sides, because you remember what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. And that's what let us cancel out that 2. It divides out, technically, or multiplies out. So then we're left with n-4 equals, and when we do -13 times 2, that's where our -26 came from. Then we added 4 to both sides. That's our inverse operations, plus 4. And n equals, because so now those cancel, n equals -22. -26 plus 4. Okay, so remember, this is the hallmark. It's the bread and butter of what you do in Algebra 1. So it's really, really important we get those inverse operations down and of course our integer operations. All right, so that concludes our video today. This one was not too long. I hope you're having a wonderful time doing your schoolwork, and that's kind of funny because no one has a wonderful time doing schoolwork, but we really do miss you guys, and I hope this is helping to make sure that you know that you'll be ready for Algebra 1. All right, take care.